It's Friday, May 3rd. I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And I'm Priyanka Aribindi, and this is What a Day, where we can only dream of having the monthly budget of former New York City mayor and Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani.
Yes, the New York Times reports that he is having trouble sticking to his $43,000 a month budget. Priyanka, I don't even know what I would do with $43,000.
Unfortunately, I know too many things I would do with that money.
On today's show, Hamas officials continue to negotiate a ceasefire agreement, plus President Biden breaks his silence on campus protests.
But first, Thursday was day 10 of former President Donald Trump's hush money trial in Manhattan, and things got interesting. So before the testimony even started, Justice Juan Merchan held a second hearing on Trump's alleged violations of his gag order. Earlier this week, Trump was fined $9,000 for 9 violations. This time, prosecutors presented 4 additional statements that were made since last Monday that they say violated Merchan's gag order as well. 2 of the statements were about Trump's former lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, and the other 2 were about the jury and former tabloid publisher David Pecker, who testified earlier. Merchan didn't rule on these latest allegations, but the Manhattan DA's office wants Trump fined an additional $1,000 for each violation. Really just a slap on the wrist there in like the most minor way. This man is not operating even on a Rudy Giuliani budget. He is like bleeding millions of dollars. Though jail time for further violations is reportedly on the table, the prosecutors did not ask Merchan to consider that.
Yeah, this is a wild situation that we are witnessing. When it comes to the actual trial, what happened on Thursday there?
Yes, so on the stand on Thursday was Keith Davidson. He is the lawyer who negotiated the hush money agreements with 2 women who said that they had affairs with Donald Trump and were paid to stay quiet about it. The first being adult film star Stormy Daniels, and the second, former Playboy playmate Karen McDougal. Davidson walked the jury through the deal that he brokered between Trump and Daniels in exchange for her silence. The trial obviously is not televised for the public to watch, but we are in luck. I spoke with Hugo Lowell earlier. He is a political investigations reporter for The Guardian, and he has been at the courthouse throughout this entire trial. I started by asking him how the gag order hearing unfolded on Thursday.
It was not a good day for Trump again and before Judge Merchan with respect to the contempt element. I think he is going to be fined further with respect to the gag order. He has very clearly violated the provision about attacking the jury. At least that's what Judge Merchan indicated from the bench. He didn't rule immediately. Basically, we're just waiting for Merchan to write out his formal order and the decision will take effect. And it was very clear from the colloquy today that Merchan really thought Trump had violated the order. He really thought Trump had gone after the jurors, and he seemed unimpressed at the Trump lawyer's argument, essentially, that because Trump didn't identify a specific juror, it was allowed under the terms of the gag order. And it seems very much like Trump is headed for further punishment.
So after all of this, Trump said that he might not actually testify because of the gag order after previously saying that he would. Here is a little clip of that.
It's such a rigged court, so I'm not allowed to testify because of an unconstitutional gag order. We're appealing the gag order, and let's see what happens. Thank you very much.
Did we ever really expect him to testify here?
It was an open question. You know, I had spoken to Trump's legal advisors and his campaign staff in the lead up to this trial, and the question was always up to Trump. If Trump felt like he wanted to testify, then at the end of the day, what Trump wanted would go. I think increasingly as this trial has gone on, and with Trump now hit with at least $9,000 in punitive fines with respect to his earlier violations of the gag order, there does seem to have been some deterrence effect at this trial. You know, Trump, even today, leaving the courthouse, said he didn't want to get into discussing one of the witnesses' testimony, Keith Davidson, because he was bound by the gag order. It seems to me that he is now using the gag order as an excuse for getting out of testifying, because this is a way for him to save face to his fans after previously saying, you know, I'm going to testify and I'm going to clear my name.
Right, exactly. And, you know, you mentioned Keith Davidson. He is the lawyer who represented Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal and negotiated agreements for both of those women. What did he say while he was testifying that really, you know, stuck out to you?
The thing that stuck out to me from Keith Davidson was actually how much it helped Trump in some respects. You know, he was quite a hostile and reluctant witness, at least towards the end of his testimony. And there was an interesting part when Davidson testified that he would never call the money paid to Stormy Daniels hush money. He would call it basically part of a settlement agreement. And that was interesting because I was texting some of the Trump lawyers at the time, and they seized upon that. And they said to me that that was the sort of thing that they would pursue, and that's the sort of thing they wanted to seize upon. The fact that if not even the guy that helped broker the deal saw it as hush money, then is there really an underlying charge here for falsifying the business records? It's a small point, but it's, I think, the first opening that Trump's legal team has had, and I think that is significant. But on the other side, Keith Davidson testified over the previous few days to all of the big moments that the district attorney needed, and Keith Davidson basically put together the narrative of how the hush money payments and the catch and kill schemes came together, and I think that was quite important for the jury.
We also know that there was a secret recording that was played for the jurors. It is Trump and Michael Cohen during the 2016 campaign. They're talking about the hush money payment details. So can you tell us about that recording and how the reaction in the court seemed?
Yeah, that was a very seminal moment at the end of the trial proceedings. It was basically a tape recorded of Michael Cohen telling Donald Trump that they needed to set up a shell company in order to set up an arrangement to pay Karen McDougal. And Cohen has this line where he says, quote, "I need to open up a company for the transfer about our friend David," David being David Pecker. And that's really significant for multiple reasons, not least because it showed that Cohen was keeping Trump apprised of all of the key moments in these catch and kill schemes. Trump's legal team suggested in opening statements that Trump had nothing to do with any of these schemes. It was all Michael Cohen doing of his own accord. Trump was busy running the country as president, or when he was signing off on the checks, and earlier was leaving all of this stuff up to his personal lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen. And this tape indicated, to some extent, that Trump was being told in real time about what was going on, and that he was being kept abreast of the biggest developments.
Right. And just one last thing for you. Can you set the record straight for all of us? Was Trump sleeping, or was he just, as he said, resting his, quote, beautiful blue eyes?
Look, we don't know what Trump is actually doing in the courtroom. His eyes certainly are closed for long stretches at a time. There are moments when he jerks upright in his chair, consistent with how someone might awake if they've been kind of dozing off or falling asleep at a classical music concert, for instance. And there have been other times when he has kind of been closing his eyes and he does seem to have been contemplating, and then he nods with his eyes closed when one of his lawyers reaches over to kind of say something in his ear. So it's not exactly clear all the time, but he is certainly spending long stretches of this trial with his eyes closed. Whether or not he is actually sleeping is one thing, but it certainly would be accurate to say he is resting his eyes.
And rest his eyes he will, Trayvell.
I'm sure he will.
Those apparently beautiful. I've never had that thought before. I don't know if anyone else has either, but sure. Something to laugh at for all of us. That was my conversation with Hugo Lowell, political investigations reporter for The Guardian.
And there surely will be more on all of this very soon, but that is the latest for now. We'll get to some headlines in a moment. But if you like our show, make sure to subscribe and share with your friends. We'll be back after some ads.
What a Day is brought to you by Ulta Beauty. This AAPI Heritage Month, Ulta Beauty is celebrating the joy of belonging to a community composed of intricate connections, belonging to our past and our future, to the heritage and birthright that is beauty.
Ulta Beauty shines a light on the AAPI community, passing the mic to brand founders and creators to tell their stories centered on heritage, joy, and beauty. They carry AAPI-owned and founded brands like Live Tinted, Peach and Lily, Glamnetic, Tree Hut, and more. Shop AAPI-owned and founded brands at Ulta Beauty stores and Ulta.com. What a Day is brought to you by Ramp. We are all looking for ways to simplify our finances.
Isn't that the truth?
Isn't that true? Lord, tax week, man. That is why there's Ramp. Ramp is a corporate card and spend management software designed to help you save time and put money back in your pocket.
Two things we love to do.
Love that.
With Ramp, you are able to issue cards to every employee with limits and restrictions and automate expense reporting so you can stop wasting time at the end of every month. Wow. This is huge.
Yeah.
Ramp is super easy to use. Get started and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. And now get $250 when you join Ramp.
Just go to ramp.com/WAD, ramp.com/WAD, ramp.com/WAD. Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC, terms and conditions apply. What a Day is brought to you by Vuori. Vuori Performance Apparel makes the perfect Mother's or Father's Day gift. Everything is designed to work out in, but it doesn't look or feel like it. And they're incredibly comfortable and cute and just the perfect thing to wear when I'm working from home or out and about, mostly at home because I'm not out and about.
Yeah.
I will say I did not know clothes could be, I'm being dead honest. I did not know clothes could be as comfortable as they are before I had Vuori.
Yes.
Clothes can be so comfortable. Nobody told me.
Smooth like butter, soft,
so good
on the skin. I just love living in Vuori. Vuori is offering What a Day listeners 20% off your first purchase when you go to vuori.com/WAD. That's VUORI.com/WAD. And enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns.
Let's get to some headlines.
Headlines.
Hamas officials said Thursday that they will meet with negotiators in Egypt to continue talks for a ceasefire in Gaza. That's according to a statement from Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh. He wrote that the move is meant to, quote, mature a deal that achieves the demands of our people and ends the aggression. This could signal that both sides are getting closer to a deal, but it's worth noting that Hamas's key demand is for Israel to completely pull out of Gaza, something that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has publicly refused to do. Earlier this week, he vowed to invade the southern Gaza city of Rafah with or without a deal on a ceasefire. This comes after the UN released a report detailing the extent of the damage in Gaza after Israel's months-long assault on the densely populated Strip. According to the report, even if Israel's assault on Gaza ended now, it would still take until 2040 to rebuild everything that's been destroyed, and it would cost at least $30 billion.
Yeah, just an incredibly staggering toll. Meanwhile, here in the U.S., demonstrations at colleges over the war in Gaza continue as university administrators crack down on pro-Palestinian encampments on campuses all across the country. President Biden weighed in on Thursday after remaining largely silent on the issue. In an address from the White House, he said that he supported the right to peacefully protest, but condemned the violence breaking out on college campuses across the country.
Violent protest is not protected. Peaceful protest is. Vandalism, trespassing, breaking windows, shutting down campuses, forcing the cancellation of classes and graduations. None of this is a peaceful protest.
The president also condemned anti-Semitism, and he pushed back on Republicans who have called on him to deploy the National Guard to quell the unrest.
Now, remember that bridge in Baltimore that collapsed back in March? Well, there's now a timeline and a price tag for rebuilding it. A Maryland transportation official said on Thursday that rebuilding the Francis Scott Key Bridge will take a little more than 4 years and cost as much as $1.9 billion. And that's just a preliminary estimate. Crews on Wednesday also recovered the body of a fifth person who died in the bridge collapse. The body of Miguel Angel Luna Gonzalez was recovered from inside a red construction vehicle. The remains of one person are still missing. The Key Bridge collapsed in late March after a cargo ship called the Dolly lost power and smashed into a bridge support. The FBI has reportedly opened a criminal investigation into the incident. Investigators are said to be looking into whether the ship's crew knew about the risk of mechanical issues when it left the port.
And while millions of people in Florida this week lost their reproductive rights because of a new 6-week abortion ban in the state, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis turned his attention to fighting businesses that are trying to do something about climate change. DeSantis on Wednesday signed a new law that bans and criminalizes the sale of lab-grown meat in Florida. Lab-grown meat, for the record, is seen as a climate-friendly alternative to the meat that we can buy in the store because it is grown from animal cells, meaning that no animal has to be raised and killed for us to eat it. Last year, federal regulators gave 2 startups approval to start selling lab-grown chicken, but commercial availability is still likely years away. So not really an issue at all for these people in Florida. But who wants to help the planet when you can stick it to the quote-unquote elites? Am I right? Here is Ron DeSantis at a press conference on Wednesday for the bill signing.
They've not only told you that the consumption of meat is, quote, the source of greenhouse gas and climate change. Obviously, they've said that. They also want you to believe that consuming insects is a, quote, overlooked source of protein and a way to battle climate change.
My God, read a book, Ron DeSantis. That's all I have to say about that. 3 other states have passed similar laws. Good thing Florida isn't among the states that are most heavily affected by climate change because of rising sea levels and intensifying hurricanes. But oh, wait, it is.
This man just continues to prove how foolish he is over and over. And I don't even know if I want to eat lab-grown meat, Priyanka, but this does not, make sense here to me.
Is this helping anybody? Is it posing a health risk to people? It is pointless.
Right.
Makes no sense. Not even available in stores, so a non-issue. It seems to me that he just has not gotten enough attention and just is pivoting to doing the most outlandish things possible to get the spotlight back. I guess he misses the opportunity to wear the cowboy boots with the lifts and misses the attention. And those are the headlines. One more thing before we go. Crooked loves to support the non-binary community, and we also love wordplay. So, of course, we have a new tee in the Crooked store that does both they, thems, the rules. It's been a highly requested merch item, and now it is finally here. So head to crooked.com/store to pick up a shirt.
It's such a cute shirt, FYI, in case y'all were wondering. That is all for today. If you like the show, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, check your bank account, and tell your friends to listen.
And if you are into reading and not just about lab-grown meat like me, What a Day is also a nightly newsletter. Check it out and subscribe at crooked.com/subscribe. I'm Priyanka Arabindi.
I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And make a budget, Rudy.
It's really that simple.
Yeah, get in there on Google Sheets. Do your expenses like me every month. It's fine. Get in there. It really helps.
It really does.
What a Day is a production of Crooked Media. It's recorded and mixed by Bill Lance. Our associate producers are Raven Yamamoto and Natalie Bettendorf. We had production help today from Michelle Alloy, Greg Walters, and Julia Clare. Our showrunner is Erica Morrison, and our executive producer is Adrian Hill. Our theme music is by Colin Gilliard and Kashaka.
What a Day is brought to you by Books. This Mother's Day, give mom her flowers. She absolutely deserves the best, and that's why you should send her farm fresh flowers from Books. That's short for bouquets. Books has modern designs and unique flowers you can't find anywhere else, and with 20% off, you can send some to mom, your wife, your auntie, even your granny, okay?
Anyone who deserves flowers in your life. It doesn't have to be holiday specific. You get flowers, you're getting flowers, everyone's getting flowers. Go to Books.com and use promo code WAD for 25% off. That is BOUQS.com, promo code WAD, Books, promo code WAD.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Visit Angie.com. You can do this when you Angie that.